For years, Walt Disney World guests treated the Disney Springs bus loops as a completely open transit hub. You could hop on any bus or boat to explore another resort, grab a drink at a pool bar, or check out a lobby, entirely for free. That open access system has been permanently shut down. Disney now enforces a strict rule at the bus loops. To get on a resort-bound bus or boat, you have to provide documented proof of business that you actually belong at that specific hotel. This comparison table shows the gap between old planning advice and the new reality. A lot of blogs still tell you to use a park-free rest day to freely hop between resorts via Disney Springs. That advice is now obsolete. The new reality requires you to hold one of three things to board: an active hotel stay at that destination, a confirmed dining reservation, or a booked enchanting extra experience. If you build your itinerary around an old video or article that skips this detail, your plan is going to collapse in the middle of your trip. You will walk up to the bus loop expecting a free ride, and a cast member will physically stop you and turn you away. Relying on spontaneity for a Disney Springs rest day now strands you at the district. Without that digital proof of business, you lose access to the resort transit network. To navigate this, you have to understand that the restriction operates in a very specific direction. This map shows how the inbound routes work. Traveling from any theme park or resort hotel into the shopping district remains completely unverified and open. Arriving at the district costs you nothing. Disney still wants you to come shop and eat. The verification check only triggers when you try to leave the central hub to visit a specific resort. This creates a geographical trap. A family can easily take a free bus directly to Disney Springs, but once there, they cannot legally use the buses to go anywhere except back to their own hotel. Some guests assume that paying the fee to park a rental car at Disney Springs grants them secondary access to the resort buses. It doesn't. The geography has been restructured into a one-way street. You have to figure out your exit strategy before you even arrive. Disney enforces this with guest relations cast members stationed directly at the transit load zones. You can't just tell them you have a reservation. They use a digital scanner to check your Magic Band, Key to the World card, or My Disney Experience app. This flowchart tracks the physical sequence. When you reach the bus loop, you step up and submit to the scan. If you scan a band and the system finds no attached reservation for that specific resort, it results in an immediate denial. At that point, you have to pull out your phone and pay out of pocket for a rideshare to salvage your itinerary. If you scan a band linked to an active hotel stay or experience at that destination, the system clears you instantly. You cannot bluff your way through the transit system anymore. You either pay for an Uber or you engineer a legitimate workaround. There is one plannable workaround to regain free transit access: the advanced dining reservation. Booking a meal at the resort you want to visit satisfies the proof of business requirement at the digital scan. But there is a time limit attached to this method. You can't just book an 8 p.m. dinner and use it to board a bus at noon. Disney gives you exactly 2 hours prior to your meal to board the bus. Planners use this specific window to their advantage. They arrive early to explore the resort's grounds, grab a drink at a lounge, or check out the pool area before checking in for their meal. The trade-off is clear. You lose pure spontaneity, and you have to commit money to a meal in order to bypass the transit block. You also have to factor in temporary seasonal closures, like the Old Key West boat route shutting down from late July through early August. When you combine permanent transit blocks with unexpected refurbishments, guessing your way through a rest day becomes a massive liability. A dining reservation now doubles as a transit pass. It is the specific documentation required to move from the district to a resort for free. You now have to choose your transit strategy based on your budget and how much effort you're willing to put into planning. This quadrant chart maps the two realistic options. First is the budget-conscious traveler who refuses to book a meal just to ride a bus. The trade-off here is straightforward. You save money by skipping forced dining, but your footprint is restricted entirely to your own hotel and the parks. Then there's the strategic optimizer, who coordinates their bookings to bypass the new restrictions. This traveler sequences their dining reservations to do double duty. They guarantee their family a great meal while simultaneously gaining free transit into the exact resort they wanted to visit. If you want to execute that strategy without spending hours researching menus and bus routes, grab the Disney World Dining and Snacks cheat sheet. It maps out the restaurants that actually make sense for your itinerary. removing the friction of figuring out which meals align with the transit routes you need. The guide pays for itself the first time it prevents you from having to hail an unpredictable, out-of-pocket rideshare because you got turned away at the bus loop. Disney's policy shift is not a temporary trial. They have permanently restructured how the property operates. The era of free, unstructured wandering is over. Deliberate, informed planning is the only way to maintain access to the property without paying for transportation.